This is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Subscribe, rate, or review Amazon, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out. Don't forget about the Instagram at That Guy Jig, Jigsaw Jimmy 17 on the YouTube. Fantasy football playoffs are officially here. If you're in, you're in. If you're out, well, we're going to try again next year. But for the people that are in, this episode's for you. Thursday night football, they gave us some points. Not a lot of people had the people that did score, but we had people that got us points none the least. We had Cortland come through with his normal work day, a good 10 points, 5 for 5, especially if you're in PPR. Ladd McConkey is showing you that he can be a good receiver, 6 for 87. Ladd McConkey next year, when they get them another wide receiver, if they can land them a Chris Godwin, a T. Higgins, if they can land one of these receivers, one of these open receivers next year, watch out for the Chargers. They're going to be a good football team. They beat the Denver Broncos, which is interesting for the playoff race. The playoff race is very interesting in the correlation of fantasy football, because if we can find the people who are pushing for playoffs, who are trying to get there, we know that they're going to try hard. We know that they're going to go out there and play the best game that they can, because their season is on the line. So that's why the correlation of the playoff push and fantasy football go together. And with this time of the year, we have football on Saturday. We have NFL football on Saturday. We have two games. The Chiefs and the Texans, and the Steelers and the Ravens. Both big games, both big division games for both of these teams. The Chiefs need to win out so they don't have to go to Buffalo. The Chiefs need that number one seed. I don't think there's another team in the NFL where the number one seed is more detrimental to their season than the Kansas City Chiefs. Every game for them is now big because they do not want to have to go to Buffalo, because Buffalo is playing some very good football. Josh Allen is playing great football, running away with the MVP race right now. But the Texans and the Chiefs, we have fantasy value. I know Hollywood Brown is back. I understand this. Yes, go pick him up. Put him on your roster. I would not start Hollywood Brown. This is a big game. This is his first game back. The Texans defense is very solid. It's a good defense. I think if the Texans offense can put pressure and score points, that's going to make that defense a lot more aggressive. It's going to make that defense a lot better. It's easier to play with the lead than playing from behind, especially when you're playing against the Chiefs. When you can get up on the Chiefs and you have a defense like the Texans defense, you should be all right. The game is in Kansas City, so we know that they will have an extra player. They will have the stripes on their side. So we do know these things. But overall, we're looking at Travis Kelce, DeAndre Hopkins. We still like Isaiah Pacheco. On the flip side, for the Texans, Joe Mixon, you know he's going to be that hammer running the football. Look for him to get into the paint. Nico Collins is going to have a good game. Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, CJ Stroud should have a solid game against this Kansas City defense. This game has potential. This game has true potential for fantasy value, has true potential to really give you that bonus kick that you need for fantasy football playoffs. Because right now you're in the grueling grind. We got people out. We got the Isaac G from the 49ers. He's out. You got Alvin Kamara. He's out. So you got to find replacements for these guys. And in the playoffs, no one wants to hear about it. It's about getting the job done. Because we are chasing immortality, folks. I'm trying to tell you, winning a fantasy football championship is not for the faint of heart. This is not easy. What we're doing is not easy. I need you to understand that. And with the opportunity that you have, this isn't promised. I know people who have played fantasy football for many years and never sniffed a chip. You have an opportunity to sniff one. You're two wins away. You're 2 wins away. And that's what's key. Finishing the job. Steelers and Ravens. This game has fantasy football value. Russell Wilson, he has fantasy value. I think this game in particular, Saturday night, I think we might see Wisconsin Russ. I think we might see Wisconsin Wilson. I think this game has an explosion written all over it. I wouldn't play either one of these defenses. I think George Pickens, I think Najee, I think Calvin Austin, I think Pat Fryermuth. I think these guys get going. I think Wisconsin Russell comes out. Wisconsin Wilson comes out, and the Steelers go in and win another game versus the Ravens. I think the Ravens' offense is solid. I think Derrick Henry's been doing great. He's been in a scoring drought as of late. I told you earlier in the season this is bound to happen when you score so much in the beginning. I also told you that the Ravens have a solid wide receiver core. It's not a great wide receiver core. It's not great. Rashad Bateman's coming around. Zay Flowers. You got both of the tight ends with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. They make up a good collective unit. But when you look at just the receivers, overall, they're still looking for that guy. They still need that guy. They haven't got him yet. And I think that overall could be a problem. But for fantasy football purposes, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Derrick Henry, and, of course, Lamar Jackson, those 5, we're looking at solid football games. We're looking at solid games. Isaiah Likely is touchdown dependent. He could be involved. Isaiah Likely is still likely a better pick than Kyle Pitts over the last month, even though he's a backup. So if you're in a deeper league and you do need a tight end, Isaiah Likely is a guy that you might be able to snag. The Saturday games have potential. The Saturday games have gold in those hills. And it's very possible. It's very possible to find some good stuff in those Saturday games. But the Sunday fun day, guys, I'm here to tell you, this is it. Sunday is it. Most of the games are going to be your early 11 o'clock games. There's going to be 4 late games, and then you got the Sunday night, and then you got your Monday. So we have to hit. We have to hit on these early games. We got the Rams and the Jets. This is going to be one of those games where you look up, and both teams are in the 20s. Both teams are in the mid-20s. Matt Stafford can get going, but the Jets defense is very formidable. The Jets defense is very good. The Rams defense is pretty solid. But that Rams offense is very good. It's 2 good offenses. Jets have been playing better as of late. The Rams have also been playing better as of late, but the Rams are also healthy. We know Cooper Kupp had his goose egg last week. I don't anticipate that this week. This week, Cooper Kupp stock is up. We're buying a lot of Kupp. We're buying a lot in Kupp. Because we know after a bad game, a good game is around the corner somewhere. And for a guy like Cooper Kupp, who is a slot merchant, he should have a very good game against the Jets. Puka, Kyren Williams, these guys, the usual suspects for the Rams. For the Jets, the usual suspects. Garrett, Devontae. They have this rookie running back room that's looking pretty good. We don't know about Breece, if he's playing or if he's not. If he does play, you know he is going to get his touches. But overall, they have had a good running back room with these rookies. I do like this game. Fantasy value. There's fantasy value. I think overall you stay away from these defenses. The kickers could be good in this game. It is outside. You have to keep that in mind. The Jets do play outside. So that's something that you must keep in mind. Look at the weather. Eagles-Commanders, big division game. Big division game. This game is going to be one of those scorers. One of those games you look up, there's a lot of points up. Scary Terry is a guy that you want to look out for this week. Be prepared for him to maybe have multiple touchdowns. Zach Ertz going against his former team. Look for him to have a solid tight end day. Brian Robinson, you know what's going on. On the flip side, AJ, Devontae, Saquon. Look for the Eagles to get back to running the ball. We've given you the pass. We've shown you what Jalen can do. Jalen's shown you what he can do. Now it's time to get back to winning football. Now it's time to get back to why we brought Saquon in. We brought Saquon in to take the throwing pressures off of Jalen. We don't need Jalen throwing the ball that many times in the regular season. We have Saquon. And I think they're going to get back to that game. They're going to get back to that style. They're going to get back to running the football, and they're going to play some time of possession. This game could be a high-scoring game if they decide to put their foot on the gas. But at some point in time, I do believe there will be points scored. But this is going to be one of those games where you look up, it's like, I kind of figured there was going to be more points. Big Saquon day. Big Saquon day. We got the Giants and the Falcons. Michael Penix making his first career start at home versus the Giants, trying to make a late playoff push if you're the Falcons. This is going to be interesting. Giants have a very solid defense. It's all about that offense for them. Falcons should be hungry. You know, the last month for the offense of the Falcons have been terrible. Not a lot of points have been scored in Atlanta. I believe that's why you make the change. Because they've been winning some games, they've been losing some games. But you've been losing because your offense has been ineffective. And when you pay that much to someone, the offense should not be ineffective. So I'm going to go out on a limb. We're going to play Bijan, Drake London, Darnell Mooney. We like these guys. Kyle Pitts. This is a tough situation. A tough one. Because it comes down to the point of, are we going to risk it in the playoffs? This would be a terrible week to have a 0. This would be a terrible week to lose because Kyle Pitts decided not to do anything again. So I'm going to say no. You have to sit him. He has to be on the bench this week. And he's probably going to go off. I'm here to tell you that now. The moment you put him on the bench, Kyle Pitts is going to be that first rounder everybody thought that he would be. But you're going to have to live with it because he's done nothing but screw you for the last month. And I know Kirk Cousins has been bad. I know that. But at some point in time, it's still football. It's still football. Cardinals and Panthers, this is one of those games where there could be some trash points scored by the Panthers late. This is one of those games that the Cardinals could lose. This is one of those games that if you have a player, if you have Trey McBride, you feel good. Marvin Harrison Jr., sure. James Conner, sure. Everybody who's played against the Panthers has done good. So you expect the Cardinals to continue, but these are the Cardinals, guys. These are still the Arizona Cardinals. The 7-7 Cardinals. This is the same team that has played themselves out of a playoff position. So you must remember this and take that in consideration. But overall, you like the athletes. You like the main stars. Leggett, Hubbard, Harrison, Connor. And if you got Kyler, you like them. But now we got Browns and Bengals. Big game for the Bengals. The Bengals are trying to make that late playoff push. We're playing everybody. T. Higgins, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase. If you got to play Mike Gesicki, I'd play him this week. If you're the Browns are coming in with a new quarterback, so I am going with the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense has been playing better. They're at home. And like I said, this is a big game because the Bengals are trying to make a playoff push. I like the Bengals backs against the wall. Give me that Bengals defense for the star of the week. The sleeper defense of the week, I'm going with the Bengals, playing them against the Browns. I think they have a chance, especially with Nick Chubb being out. There's a lot of backups out. I mean, a lot of starters are out, and now the backups are in, and the backups, there's a big difference for Cleveland. So I like the Bengals overall. Titans and Colts. This is one of those games where, I'm sorry, Jonathan Taylor could have a solid game. You're looking for the receivers for the Colts to have a good game, but the Titans have a good secondary. Stay away from this game. Stay the absolute way from this game. I'm not comfortable with telling you to play anybody for this game. Lions and Bears, no Montgomery. Jared Goff stats go up. Jared Goff is up. More passing attempts, less David Montgomery. I think there's going to be more passing attempts. I think the Lions are going to rely more on their quarterback. I like this game for the Lions. The Bears, it just depends. It just depends on which Chicago team wants to show up. It depends on which offense wants to show up. If they're going to come out and be effective, they have the weapons to put up points. Detroit Lions defense is beat up. They're not that great. This game has the potential of being in the 50s for total points. I like it. I like both sides. I like Rome. I like DJ. I like Keenan, Cole. I like DeAndre Swift. This whole game has points on it. If the weather holds up in Chicago, this has potential. It has potential. The Vikings and the Seahawks, Geno, you're terrible. You've been playing terrible. You're on your Jameis Winston as far as touchdowns equal to interceptions. This is terrible football. Terrible football. Look for the Seahawks to try to get a quarterback in there next year, because there's no way with how that defense was playing early in the season and how good the offensive weapons they have. Now the emergence of Zach Charbonnet, why they shouldn't be better. And the only reason they're not better is because of the quarterback. Yeah, their offensive line is all right. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. And the quarterback position can definitely get better. So look for the Seahawks to upgrade. They're going against the Vikings this week. Vikings should put up some points. You should see Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Look out for T.J. Hawkinson to get into the paint. Aaron Jones, the usual suspects for the Vikings. It's going to come down to, can the Seahawks keep up? Can Geno keep up with Sam Darnold? It's kind of funny that that's where we're at now. It's definitely musical chairs when it comes to quarterbacks. One year he's down, the next year he's up. Sam Darnold is going to set the pace, and can Geno Smith keep up? And a few years ago, that would be crazy to say out loud, but here we are. Patriots and Bills, Bills. All the stock up. You might get some trash points from the Patriots late. You might get some trash stuff, some stuff late. What you don't want is for the Bills to get up super crazy and for the Patriots to go ahead and just swap everybody out and bench players. That's what you don't want, but you do have the potential of this. The Buffalo Bills are 14-point favorites. Josh Allen is playing incredible football. You're playing everybody for the Bills. If you have Bills players, you play them. Mac Hollins is probably someone you want if you need a fill-in. He's somehow getting open. The barefoot assassin. The guy knows what he's doing. Jaguars and Raiders, stay away from this game. There's nothing good coming from this game. The Jaguars have decided to play some competent defense as of late, so there's really nothing for you in this game. There's absolutely nothing in this game. Dolphins and 49ers, this has a chance. This has a chance to be one of those games where you look up and all of a sudden we're in the 20s. We're in the 50s we're in the 50s for the point totals. This is one of those games. I like this game. I like everything about it. Especially if Brock Purdy can come and play football this week. It shouldn't be raining. We're in Miami, sunny Miami, good weather Miami. Let's get it. Let's get it popping. That's a good game you want to be a part of. You don't want to play any defenses. I think there's going to be a point in time where the defenses are told to stay on the sideline. Buccaneers and Cowboys. Everyone's must go. Mike Evans monster game en route. He needs like 251 yards or something like that to go over 1,000 for like the 17th straight 1,000th year. This is what we need. Mike Evans has been the mold of consistency. Look for Mike Evans to have a big game versus the Cowboys. Secondary struggles sometimes. This is going to be low-key a high-scoring game. Baker Mayfield going back home to Texas. This is a homecoming game for Baker Mayfield. He's going to show out. I like the Buccaneers in this game. They are leading their division at 8-6, looking to improve. So I like the Buccaneers in this game. I think this is going to be a good game for them. If you have Buccaneers, you're confident, you feel good, you feel safe, because this is going to be a good game. For the Dallas Cowboys players, it's going to be a good game. If you got Cowboys players, you're feeling good. The Buccaneers defense isn't that great. They're beat up. They're trying to get healthy. They're trying to make a playoff push. Well, not the Cowboys, but the Buccaneers. We know the Cowboys aren't. But the Cowboys players are still playing hard and they're still playing good football. And the Buccaneers have some holes in that defense. Monday, Saints and Packers. Like I said, Alvin Kamara is out. Keandre Miller is probably going to be your guy. Still going to be a tough start because of the simple aspect of they are playing the Packers. And overall, the Saints offensively have not been that good. This year, they have been below average, and they've been below what they've expected. And what I expect, real quick, can you hit that subscribe button? Thank you. But the Saints have been below expectations. They started off great, and then they fluttered, and now they're gone. The Chris Olave injury started things. I understand they weren't healthy, but availability is the best ability. And if your team isn't available, then we can't risk this championship run. Like I said in the beginning of the show, guys, this is a championship weekend. We are in it. There is no next week. We must plan and we must be great. We must do our research. I will be posting picks. I will be posting bet picks and all that good jazz on the Instagram at That Guy Jig. Follow me on the YouTube at Jigsaw Jimmy 17. And this is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Subscribe, rate, review. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the ship that never sinks, and that's a friendship. We are going for immortality, folks. You got 2 more weeks. You must be strong. You must be unmoving. We are going for immortality. And I hope you subscribe and tell a friend. Once again, I am JIG. Appreciate the listen. Thanks.